From teaching to international championships, video games have progressively begun to play a larger role in our society than ever before. I've been playing video games ever since I was about 5 years old, and I've spent countless hours reading and researching articles about games and gaming technology. First, I'm going to discuss how video games are being used in schools to supplement education. Second, I'm going to talk about the rise of esports in our culture. And finally, I'll go over the myths and misconceptions that distort how society views video games. Over time, video games have begun to be used more as educational tools in schools across the country. Computer and video games favor the development of complex thinking skills related to problem solving, strategic planning, and self-regulated learning. For example, according to Kurt Squire, an associate professor at the University of Wisconsin, simulation games such as SimCity and Sid Meier's Civilization allow students to observe how social systems can change over time. In a study done at the University of Wisconsin, 7-year-olds played a game called Age of Mythology. Researchers found that the students went out of their way to learn more about the mythology that was represented in the game, such as borrowing books from a library or reading about them online. According to James Paul Gee, all learning involves playing a character. In a science classroom, learning works best if students think, act, and value like scientists. Games can show us how to invest in new identities or roles, which in turn can motivate us to learn. Now that I've discussed how video games can affect us academically, I will discuss how they affect us culturally. The most prominent example of this is esports. The recent rise in popularity of esports begs several questions, such as what is esports, how are they compared to traditional sports, and why are they relevant or important? What is esports? There's no universally defined accepted definition of esports. However, it is best defined as computer gaming played at a skilled and competitive level. Recently, there has been a lot of controversy as to whether or not esports should even be considered a sport at all. However, if we take a look at the definition of the word sport, it encompasses every part of the term. The only part that critics like to nitpick at is the physical exertion and skill part. I have a clip here that shows just how much physical activity is involved when playing a highly competitive game such as StarCraft. With virtual reality technology such as the Oculus Rift and the Virtusphere advancing, it could be possible that in the future, competitive gaming can be done with the entire body rather than just the hands. The relevance of esports is shown as the international championship for the computer game Dota 2 was shown on ESPN2, which shows progress that video games are becoming as entertaining to watch as a football or baseball game. In more recent news, the U.S. government has now recognized that pro League of Legends players as professional athletes and are awarding them work visas. Now that we've learned how video games have affected our society, I will discuss how they are viewed by our society. The first is that video games lead to youth violence. According to Henry Jenkins, an MIT professor, the strongest risk factors for school shootings centered on mental stability and the quality of home life, not media exposure. The second myth is that girls don't play video games. However, statistics show that women now make up 40% of gamers and 80% of girls reported playing games in their adolescence. The final misconception is that video games are bad for your health. As I stated earlier, they're being used more in schools to teach more effectively. And like everything, enjoying things in moderation is important. In conclusion, video games have evolved from an interactive source of entertainment into a worldwide industry that has been integrated into our society in a way that has changed and is currently changing societal norms.